Sunday, 2 on the Monday, 2 on the Tuesday, and then 1 on the Wednesday, all of which from that 30 minutes of work on Thursday night, in my spare time. So it was, as I told Ro when she asked, it's a surprise thing too, because I accidentally showed up on her call and she asked me, she saw these submissions coming in and she asked me, and I told her, we discussed it today. I said, it's the easiest thing. And she now knows. I've shown her some of my history today. It's literally the easiest thing I've ever done in my professional life. Now I had to go visit, right? So, but little did I know there were 3 of them right where I go to my chiropractor. So there's like a little medical plaza, right? So it's like medical office, right on the other side of the street. So when I pull out, I was facing, and I never noticed, I was facing 3 different assisted living facilities. And so I visited all 3 of those. And again, that's just, I visited them.
What was the reception, Christian, right? What was the reception like when you went there?
All except one. Great. I mean, not only great, but once, if you take the time, like don't go in, like I've been coaching and working and doing sales for a long time. And my approach has always been just to be real. Be a real person, talk to them like you would anybody else. And if you come in with that kind of warmth, then they will hear what it is you're there for. And everyone I spoke to was very receptive to that, versus coming in like you're trying to sell them on something, or I need you to sign up for something. It was more of like, hey, I'm here to check out the facility. And I presented it for what it was, which is we're trying to work to help seniors in the area, getting a lot of those types of requests, a lot of wait lists, and I need to sell my home. So I wanted to better familiarize myself with facilities in my area so I could help them, help you. We could all help each other. And everybody was, it's almost like they were waiting for somebody to, care. And then one in particular, Story Point, which is in Powell, has 2 facilities, a north and a south. They actually took it a step further. And Ash, this is where, your video kind of stuck out to me. And I responded that I had someone say, I'd love to speak to our real estate department who deals with agents, because this could be a great program. So by far and away, if this journey for you is hard, it won't be because of getting a hold of facilities. I can promise you that.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
That's amazing to hear.
Hey, Christian, quick question. Yeah, did you get any feedback about competition? Because it's very rare that I talk to agents that they're targeting facility, assisted living facility, and it looks like that it's very untapped, and because everybody is like doing FSBOs, expireds, pre-foreclosure. Did you get any feedback about competition, like agents targeting that facility?
Yes, and I would have been, of all the agents everyone has had talk to them, I would have been number 1. The only one. The only one. I mean, most of the feedback, I know now some of them have different titles. So it's sales, manager, or sometimes it's customer service. Like, and I remember the woman I spoke to at Dublin Village, Retirement Village, when she realized what really dawned on her, because we took the tour, I asked my questions, and then I started changing and evolving a little bit as I went to one facility after another, what the better flow was, what the better cadence was, and kind of creating the rapport. Once she started to really realize what we were doing, she actually kind of took us like, I want you to see my independent side too, because I was there for assisted living. She's like, we have a whole building. I thought I was leaving. She brought me a box of cookies for my daughters, because we had this whole little conversation as we went through. And then by the time it's almost like she didn't want me to leave. And when I got ready to leave, she said, look, if any agents on your team in your office would like to hold an event here, please let me know. As a matter of fact, if you'd like us to conduct a seniors 101 for you to kind of better educate you on, what happens in this building, be more than happy to put it on for you. That was more the response. There was only one person that I spoke to that seemed just irritated from the minute I walked in the door. Other than her, everybody was like surprised that I'd never heard of that. What a great idea. That was the only feedback I got. So I got the impression that I was the first person to ever bring anything like that up.
Do you have your postcards, Christian?
Sure do. Hold on a second.
Awesome. So Fred, just to catch you up quickly. So to introduce Fred to everybody, he's the CEO of Zoomcasa and has the forward program, which we call Cash CPO. It's all the same thing. So everything we do is powered by Fred. And Joey and I went to Fred a little while back and said, we've niched it down. We've got the book out now. And which one of these niches do you like? And he said, assisted living, hands down, it's untouched. So that's, so blame Fred is the real point. So Fred, so to catch you up, Fred, on what we're doing with this, we've completely changed tact. We've niched it down, as you already know. But we've got some very high level people coming in. Like, so Christian, for example, has bought all the zips for Ohio, and Ash has bought all the zips for New Jersey. These are both humble implementers. And when I tell you, they won't tell you this. And Joey and I had to literally stalk them on Facebook and investigate them. So Christian, and we did, honestly, neither of us knew this from both of them. So Christian's a financial guru who coaches and trains people how to run stocks, basically. He showed me this morning, has the most amazing gift shop. So if any of you have little girls, what's it called? Sparkle Fairy. So he buys all this stuff from China, but it's absolutely gorgeous. And it's about updating little girls. He's written series of books. He's got like lockets and tiaras, and he runs that too. But anyway, he's super high level financial guru, and he runs this amazing Sparkle Fairy in the background. So that's Christian. Ash here. So Ash, we didn't see it. We noticed some guitars. We thought that looked interesting in the background. Then we find him. He's done a TEDx. We find out he's done a TEDx talk. So I'm looking for a picture of him. I'm like, who are these people? So anyway, we've got some amazing recruiters now, because they have to go and, we just gave it away before. We made a mistake in giving it away without skin in the game. And Laurie, you know this as well. My gosh. So we gave it away without giving skin, the VP ship, that is. So of course I didn't tell Christian and Ash that when we were bringing them on, but they all know. I've been very transparent with it. And now they have to go and see 6 facilities before they go to a regional VP. And then they have to bring on 6 agents before they go to the full VP. Christian, I think in 48 hours got through his visits. So he's already that next level where I'm helping him. So Fred funds a lot of your advertising as well, by the way, Christian, for us to bring people in. So we've got some funds into our pot to bring all the agents in. So Christian, because of the number of zip codes in Ohio, is tasked with bringing in, I think, 35 agents we've got for him. And he's going to coach them locally. And because he's in Columbus, he can even run local events where they can drive in and he can do an event, right? And he'll probably end up with 30, 60, 90 agents who are all running this. But he is kicking them out because he owns all the zips. He is kicking them out. They're gone unless they see their 6 in however long Christian wants to see them. Because it ain't hard, and Christian's proven it. And now Ash is proving it as well. So Ashley, tell us your experience so far.
So I've only, I haven't had the 10, I've only had 1. I had 5 meetings set in the last couple of days, but I had, I think 2 canceled because of COVID. There's been a bit of a run here in Jersey, and so I think they're being a little more cautious. The other had some emergency come up, but I started making phone calls this morning. I got 1 set for next week, but the one that I did have was with a brand new facility here in Basking Ridge. I'm located in New Jersey. So they will be sold out and on a wait list by October, but they are part of a group called LCB that has 42 properties up and down the East Coast. And the person I met with I posted this video. When I talked to the sales and marketing manager, she was super nice, but when she realized I wasn't a family coming in for the potential resident, she said, "Oh, we have someone else that I'll put you in touch with, you can talk to." And honestly, I thought it was going to be her assistant or somebody on her team that I just would get 15, 20 minutes with. Turns out it was this lady named Andy, her whole job is external business development and talking to people in the community. So I immediately connected with her because she's from Aiken, South Carolina, which is, I'm from the South originally. And we had a conversation. And when I explained to her what we did, she looked at me and she said, "I wish I'd met you 3 months ago." And I was like, "Why? Did you have somebody here?" She said, "No, I needed you. My parents are in a situation with their home in Aiken, because I'm licensed in New Jersey, North Carolina, South Carolina. I'm in a position in Aiken where I'm getting maybe 40% of the value of the home because I had to get rid of it. And there were a lot of problems and I just had to sell it." So she lit up when I told her what we did. She gave me every piece of information about the property. She's going to connect me with their corporate team for the other 41 properties that they have. She's going to connect me with the other folks in New Jersey. She's going to connect me with the people in the industry in New Jersey that she's networking with because she thinks it's such a great product and such a great opportunity. So she walked me around. She introduced me to the executive director, to I mentioned that I'm the co-president of my kid's school, kind of PTA, we call it an HSA. But she introduced me to their head of programming because she wants me to do a program with the school to bring in the kids to volunteer inside or even come in and do a concert or something. So it's going to be a really good relationship. And the one thing I said in the video that I'll reiterate here and then I'll let Ro move on is that it's something Christian said. It's not, when you explain to them what you're doing, they see you as a partner. You're not in there trying to sell them a cell phone or upgrade their service or give them a copier. You're in there providing a service, and her whole job, this Andy person's whole job, is to find people like me that can help drive residents to their property. So it really is an amazing. I'm in the process, just so you know, Fred, of switching. I just joined another firm about a month and a half ago, but I'm switching to EXP, be part of Ro's team, and then it will start recruiting agents here in New Jersey as well. So super excited about the opportunity.
Oh, Fred, so full transparency. So what we do when we bring people into the program as a VP, obviously they're recruiting a lot of agents, and I had a blinding glimpse of the obvious. That's an amazing downline opportunity. So when I interviewed Christian and Ash, I said, listen, this is not a recruiting exercise. However, if you want another stream of income, you could join EXP and I will coach you one-on-one free every week to get you into the fast lane with this. So, you know, you can do it. If you're in Keller Williams, you can do it. It's a much lower income stream. If you're in EXP, it's about 15 times that income stream. You can do it with LPT. You can do it with modern homes. So, you know, if you're in a company where you've got revenue share, this is an even better opportunity for you because you're bringing in the agents and everyone's aligned. It's kind of what I loved about Forward, Fred, because Forward as Zoomcasa, you're aligned with the seller because you're not trying to get the house cheap. You're not trying to get the appraisal cheap. The more money we can get for the house when we go in and do our HGTV magic, everybody wins. Everybody's aligned. That's what this is. So just full disclosure on that. And I just realized you don't know the numbers, I don't think. So we have 30 assisted living facilities within 30 minutes of every agent. And we build, so we've got all the ChatGPT prompts that builds that list very quickly on a spreadsheet. So I did that for Ash and Christian, and a lot of other people who've joined recently. Laurie, we probably need to do yours as well. So there's 30 within 30 of every agent. And of those, each facility has on average, I should make one of these guys do this. Each facility has on average 39 units. So those 39, each one of those, each facility generates between 1 and 3 opportunities every month. So that's something like on average 80 opportunities, except some of those, a percentage of those, and we have all the numbers, have already sold their house or they've moved in with their kids or whatever. So on average, each agent is going to have 51 opportunities to list a house a month. 51. So we run the figures on 10%. If you get 5 of those, that's 5 listings. If you get 5%, that's 2.5 listings. And in the Zoomcasa world, that's 5 units a month, which is more than most agents are doing, right? So this is just to set it and forget it. You go see all the facilities once, and then our minimum expectation, and these guys fight with me on this, which I love. A minimum expectation is that you call them once a month. Hey, it's Ash here. Just want to see how you were doing. Got any vacancies you need me to help you fill? So you're getting into the databases. They're fighting me like, no, I want to be on every week, which is great because they're going to have that expectations of the agents they're bringing on as they build out their states. So
I think that's outstanding, and I'm so happy to hear Ash and Christian the positive feedback you've gotten thus far. I think one of the reasons that we're so excited about the senior living opportunity is that a lot of times the folks you're talking to these homes are talking to the client before they've actually figured out what to do with their old house. If you just think about it, you're not going to sell your house and then go look for where you're going to move. You do it the exact opposite way. So these are, clients, potential sellers that are visiting these homes and trying to figure out what their next move is. So what's really important is if you can get in the ear of these representatives at these senior facilities and get them to pitch the service as a value add, as part of the process to move in. It's, instead of it being reactive, it's proactive. So instead of them just calling you when the seller says, hey, who do I talk to about listing my home? No. As part of the process of thinking about where you're going to move into a senior living facility, this is how you do it. So you're able to move and have someone deal with your old house, and it's a seamless process. And because you're getting them so much earlier in the home sale journey, it's before they probably talk to any other agent or even thought about what they're going to do to list their home. So I think it's a really fantastic opportunity. If you play it right, it should be a major volume source for you.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, I can't imagine that it would be. Real quick first, just so nobody think it's weird or creepy, I have 2 little daughters. So to make sure there's some commentary, some context behind what
on
Rose
the
said. Yeah. So to be clear, my daughter, who was only 5 at the time, just so I didn't tell Ro this, my daughter, who was 5 at the time, who was, both of them are daddy's girls, was going to her very first birthday party ever. And I said I was going to take her out and get her a new dress. She was so excited. And she couldn't find the dress she wanted. And just for my entire professional life, I've just worked for myself. You solve problems, you go get it done. And when your little girl wants a dress that she can't find, I came downstairs. I was really distraught about it. And I came downstairs that following morning. My wife was having coffee. And I was telling, I was like frustrated, like Kylie wants this. And she said, I just mumbled to myself, I ought to just make it myself. And she said, you should. And then that's where we are today. It went from dresses to tiaras and I would sit right next to her and she would help me, what do you think the glitter should look like? So just so we're clear that, I'm not on any list anywhere. But speaking of when I got off the phone with Ro today, and I know this may not be where we are at this time, but another idea that I thought could be great. I've done a lot of in-person speaking and seminars, and obviously, Ash, I know you've done so as well. When you have people that are comfortable in that environment, I'd be curious to see what a live event would do if you brought living facilities to us. And so if you had this event that was tailored around it, versus like one person going, but if you could get the sales managers or customer service to where it creates a sort of a buzz in a room where now you're having, Ash had his experience, I had mine, but what if you could pull out a lot of those experiences? So if we get to the higher ups, where you're not being viewed from the lens of this one person that came to me, but this is an event. Yeah. I would say you could do the same thing with agents as well. I'd be curious how that would work in a testing environment, although I realize it may not be the most cost effective. But if you could bring agents into this new way of generating and helping, I think events, piggybacking on what you and I talked about earlier, Ro, could be something maybe down the road at some point for the VPs to do.
We can start it on Zoom. We can do a Zoom event. We can do a Zoom event across the country.
And all of these,
we'll have more of a list to hit.
And one of the things I told Ro was that I've done some, I wrote a book and then did a TED Talk that was spawned from the book. And then I created workshops and trainings around that I did actually went into, it was more CCRC type properties where I gave workshops and keynote speeches around letter writing. That's what my book was on. But it was in this world of independent living. And they all have conferences, their state conferences, their regional conferences, their national conferences, and they are actively looking for content for those conferences. So one thing we might want to think about is once you build this long term, I have those contacts because of the work I did in the past with my book on how to apply for those conferences. And this might be something they would do in a breakout session with. So to your point, Christian, you don't have to do this 100 times. You could go into a regional conference and hit 7 states with folks that are running these properties, and you could talk to them about this. That might be an avenue too, if you want to go that way, Ro, as you try to build this out beyond the onesie twosie having these conversations, which is great. I mean, that's how I met Andy, and that I'll keep doing that. But as this grows, that might be something to do more on a corporate level, to start thinking about how can we, when you start talking about your marketing funnel, how can you start big and kind of filter down to the local level.
I love it. And we've also got, I don't think Fred, that's a really great idea, Ash. And I love that you've got those experiences. These are all God moments, these people that are coming in right now. It's amazing. Laurie, do you have any reports on the ones you've been to see? I realized I left you out there. I'm sorry. No, none yet. Okay. So, did you hold up your postcards, Christian? I think you did. Oh, you got them too. Oh my gosh.
I think mine came yesterday, the day before yesterday, something like that.
Did you get jumbo ones, Ash?
Although I'm hesitant because I went ahead and put eXp Realty, so I can't give them out till I actually join eXp Realty. So
Too funny. Oh my gosh. Did you get jumbo postcards, Ash?
I have it big in my head.
Well, yours are jumbo too. Of course they are.
Yeah.
Now we've got the guys, you know, competing with each. These two almost joined at the same time, and then we all went on vacation. So they're kind of competing with each other. It's kind of funny, actually. It'll be interesting to see where we get with the next people. You both
helping each other, Christian, is the
helping
way.
each. Oh yeah, of course. I see it. Yeah, who's got the biggest postcards? I'm meddling and causing trouble here. So who, me? Never. So it'll be interesting because you've both got the ads ready now to go out to get your people in your state. So we'll see how that goes. Fred also doesn't know that we've had over 400 people apply, and it's probably 4 weeks now. So it's like 100 applications a week. I tweaked the ads and somehow we literally can't keep up. So Ash, you and Laurie, you're welcome to take on some of these as we move. And we're just attacking assisted living. It's just assisted living. Right. They can use the forward program for other things too. But when we get their heads around using it for assisted living, the assisted living opportunity will be a pull to them, you know, or drop in their laps, basically, once they get out and see these people. So once they learn to do an offer, they'll realize how easy it is, because that seems to be the usual stumble for agents. I mean, Fred's as you can imagine, he's been doing this since 2017. He has a lot of experience with agents, so he knows the stumbling blocks. And now we're taking the squirrels away. It's just like, you've got 30 within 30, go see them, and then follow up with them once a month. It's fairly easy that you could help a new agent with, you know, and to make a lot of money, because that's a lot of units a month, obviously. So.
I can't stress it enough. I think you've cracked how to get into these facilities, that you can't expect the folks that work there to put 2 and 2 together. You need to draw it on a napkin for them, make it really simple. They can't think of you as just another referral partner. They need to think of you as a means to get clients in the door in their facility and a solution to solve that problem. And the difference between them thinking of you as a referral partner or as someone that is a key tool in their toolbox is the difference between doing 1 unit a year and doing 50 a year. They need collateral. They need stuff that they can bring up to sellers. I would even tell them, hey, if you have someone walking in the house, I'm happy to go do a walk through their old property and, you know, give them evaluation and consultation. You got to get in their head a little bit and have them bring you up.
So Fred, that's what their postcards are. But if you've got any other ideas for leave behinds, because we're trying to, as we're bringing all these agents on, we're trying to make it somewhat inexpensive. Can you hold a front up? Like the front and then turn it over. So it's literally bullet points. It's very simple. It's got a QR code on it that takes them back to a landing page. And it's got bullet points on the front, and then it's got bullet points on the back, how it works. And we give them, how many are you giving them a stack of, guys?
I made sure to only drop like 20 to 25 per.
Right.
I didn't want to give them too many where they would not need to reach out back to me.
Yeah.
So I kept it limited, but enough, you know, for directly what's in front of them.
Because to Fred's point, you know, as much as you explain it, they're seeing people every single day and they're trying to re-explain it. You know, we want them to always ask the question, do you have a home to sell? Which they're naturally asking anyway. But now you've given them a postcard to give them, hey, we have this program that can get you, you know, 2/3 of the sellers using this program get more money, and you don't have to have any showings, and you can get the majority of your asset in 2 weeks. Like, keep it as simple as you can. But now they've got postcards when you're not there.
The other thing I did, Ro, was take the press release and reformatted it into a PDF, took off the links and everything, and I hope, added my information for the
Of
folks I'm
course.
giving it to. And I just had them printed at Staples. I'm gonna pick them up today. So they're
Awesome.
printed very high quality. I'll have that. So I'm gonna leave that, a couple of those that they can give to a potential resident they could read. So beyond the postcard, I mean, it's nice. It gives you the bullet points, but then you can read the actual article. It gives it a little more weight when you read a little bit about how the process works. So
I love it. I love it. And, one thing COVID gave us was QR codes, because you can be 90 years old now and you know how to use a QR code, because of the menus when they went out to eat. I love that you did that, Ash. Again, everybody's taking initiative. I love it. We've got 6 of you now, but you guys are leading the pack clearly. So thank you for that as it grows. And also, so Christian now, once you get your people in place, the press release is done for you, right? So the press release that you saw will go out in your area, but that's your next level. That's your next goalpost. So once we've got your people in, that press release will go out, because it'll make more sense once you've got a handful of people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, those are ready to go once you're in place.
I'd love to ask both you and if Fred wouldn't mind chiming in as well. It sounds like, when you decided to obviously launch and start to build this program, you obviously had some pretty big and lofty ideas in mind. I would love if you wouldn't mind kind of sharing where you see this program being and what your vision is a year from now, 5 years from now, 10, what we can expect from your vantage point when you started, lit the spark, so to speak.
Do you mean 2017 with Forward and Zoom Casa, or Cash CPO back at the end of 2023, or both?
Back at the end of 2023, or both. I mean, I'm all ears.
So the true story is, Joey hounded me for about 8 weeks, and because we're all salespeople, right? And we know, especially agents are like squirrels. So finally, Joe, in fact, I had a whole bunch of staff then back when I was running a regular real estate business. And Joey went through all my staff and they fended him off and fended him off and fended him off. And he was trying to buy one of my listings. I don't know who this Joey guy was. He had some funny name. So eventually, one Friday night, he wore me down. I think I was having a glass of wine or something. And I just happened to pick up my phone and it was Joey. I'm like, okay, you got me. It's like 7 o'clock on a Friday. Like, who's this doofus calling me at 7 o'clock on a Friday? He's like, well, we want to buy your condo and it works like this and it works like this and it works like this. Maybe because I was relaxed and I'd had a glass of wine, or it was 7 o'clock on a Friday. I'm not really sure, but I went, you do what? And I realized that what he was describing to me was a certified pre-owned home. Now, to put that in context, I'd started certified pre-owned experts back in 2007. So that's where you persuade the seller to get the inspection, get the appraisal, and offer a home warranty. So this was a whole program I'd written a previous book about, blah, blah, blah. So all that was done, and just a light bulb went off. I thought, this is CPO. So anyway, we put in the offer on that one. I said, okay, let's try it. We put in the offer on that one. Didn't work. They were a pain in the butt. They'd been listed with 3 agents before, but whatever. It didn't matter because we were working on something much more lofty. This is the fall of last year. It's probably August when Joey was originally calling me, something like that. So I should remember our first date, Joey. Sorry. So I go, wow, this is amazing. And I explained to him about certified pre-owned experts. Fred and I got together. He's like, I got to get you with Fred. So we got together and we launched this with the Cash CPO program. And then we failed over and over again. So I was very honored to be able to work with Ray, who are top agents and with big teams. And a lot of them jumped on the bandwagon. But at that point, we weren't as well organized. I didn't have the book out yet. Obviously, it just started like you can't write a book overnight. The website landing pages weren't in place. The ads weren't in place. And then slowly but surely, it all rolled out. And then we got the idea of niching it down, because why are we just saying, oh, there's this cash offer out there? Assisted living was so obvious. I wrote all the landing pages for the niches, the multipliers. We want multipliers. As a real estate agent, you don't want to just go and talk to a FSBO. You want to talk to somebody like a manager in assisted living who's going to give you 3 a month, right? 1 to 3 a month on a consistent basis. They're multipliers. They're going to keep giving to you. You don't want to talk to your friends who are your sphere, because they get very tired of you asking for their business over and over again. So that's where assisted living came from. And then we took all the niches to Fred, and he's like, assisted living, you'll win with that one. And then there's the builder one, for example. They're all multipliers, right? Builders are, you know, a lot of builders, especially as the economy is slipping now, a lot of builders are building a home for somebody. So I'm building a home for Laurie. Laurie doesn't know when I'm going to get finished, because timelines slip all the time. So Laurie's not going to list a house, because why? Because, well, I don't know when Ro's going to get finished building it, and, you know, materials. And I keep saying I'm going to be finished by Thanksgiving, and she knows that's not really the case, because that's just how building works. So Laurie doesn't list a house because she ain't ready yet. And she's working with last year's mentality where she can sell it in a day anyway, and she'll have her money in 6 weeks, right? Well, guess what? That's not happening anymore. So it might happen, but it's going to take 6 weeks. So what if we can go to the builders and offer them the builder CPO? I used to do this with CPO experts. It's the same thing. We offer them the builder CPO, which means that they can say to their clients who they're building the house for, back to Fred's point about getting in their minds before they're talking to an agent. And the builder says, yeah, I'll offer that. It doesn't cost them anything. And it saves them. So I got on with I'll tell you a story about how it works. So last week, I was interviewing somebody for one of your roles in South Carolina. And he said, currently I'm working for a developer. And he said, I've got to get off the interview right now because I've got to cancel a contract. I'm like, what? He said, they can't sell their home. I'm like, no, stop. We've got the builder CPO, right? So he actually put it in, I think. So because they couldn't sell the house. So he's built a house for them, and they put off listing the house because they don't want to be homeless. They don't want the home not to be ready. So now we can offer them the builder CPO. It's the same thing. We can get their money, you know, up to 70% of their money within 14 days, move them into their brand new, lovely house whenever they're ready. But we want to go and see them 6 months before. Well, we have to amend the offer a little bit, maybe because of the economy, but we want to see their clients 6 months before. Go see the house, see what it needs. If you need a traditional listing, you need a traditional listing, whatever. Maybe, you know, they don't have enough equity in it. However, you've seen the house, you know what it needs. Just take the full offer and tell them to put the offer in their back pocket so that we can revisit it the minute that the builder says, hey, we're ready. We're going to be ready in 4 weeks. Quick, let's get with Fred. See how much money he's got in his back pocket right now, and how much we can give them for the house, depending on what the economy is doing, right? So it's not just this niche, but we're focusing on this niche so that we're not having all this squirrel energy going on, which is what we had from the beginning of the program. So there's Christian. So Christian, I hope that answers your story. So, you know, I got with Joey, I was having a glass of wine. I'm like, oh my gosh, this totally fits CPO experts, which I'd written a best-selling, but the book went bestseller overnight. Biggest program was CPO, which is, by the way, forward, basically. Except now we have a funding partner that will pay for it for them instead of the seller having to plump at $1,000. You know, Fred loves to just dip into his pocket and pay for all these things. Of course, it comes off the profit at the end. Nobody's going to give away money for nothing, right? But they don't want to take the time. They don't want to fix anything. They don't want to have showings. Everybody hates showings. It's awful. Think about enterprise, right? So budget, is anybody familiar with enterprise, how their business model is different? So you go and rent a car, right? You've had an accident, awful, right? Brutal, terrible. Nobody wants to have an accident. And you have to go rent a car. So you call your insurance. What kind of nightmare is that? It's awful. You're on the phone all day long. Then they finally say, oh yeah, your rental car is covered. And you go to get your rental car. So how do you get to your rental car? You've had an accident. You go to get your rental car, you rent your car, and now you have to be on with your insurance all the time, making sure you're covered for long enough. So put that to enterprise. Enterprise come to pick you up, right? So guess who the rental car company is that all of the insurance companies recommend? They're their multiplier, right? So if you, almost all insurance companies, you're in the finance world, Christian, you know about this. Almost all insurance companies, I used to work for Zurich Financial, almost all of them recommend enterprise. What do enterprise do different? They sell rental cars like everybody else. They come and pick you up. Why? Because the most brutal part of that whole transaction is having to get the car. It's miserable. The logistics of it, you've got a car that's broken down somewhere. They'll come back, get you. They'll come. It sounds like a little small thing. In selling a house, which part of it is awful?
It's all about the convenience. Hey, Ro, I think you forgot the part wherein you invited Fred on your radio show on a Saturday at 6 a.m. our time.
7. It was 7.
Oh, was it 7? Okay.
Only 7 in the morning. The CEO of Zoomcaster, I invite, like, come do the radio show with me. He said, sure. He came on at 7 o'clock. There's a whole radio show with Fred. It was awesome, awesome, awesome.
That was fun.
We should do that again, actually. And obviously, all you guys are more than welcome to come on, especially when you've got some people. And the downloads are going crazy now from the podcast. So you can continue to use that podcast out there. And Fred, another update for you. We've got the vertical now, whereby when they fill in the cash CPO offer, I don't know, do you know about this, Joey? Sorry. When they fill in the cash CPO offer, sorry, Joe, if you don't know about it. Sorry. We'll just keep innovating. So you go get cash offer. On get cash offer now, we have the verticals. The reason this is important is because the only way these people get on here, you know, the GC, the mortgage services. So basically someone wants a cash offer. They come on here and they get free moolah. That means they get at least $100 in credit from any of these people. So there's a way you get on with the verticals, right? So the moving services have to offer at least $100, but also they have to put get cash offer on their website on the front of their page, and they're doing it. So now we're getting the forward offer embedded on lots of websites all over the country. It'll be a slow burn, but that's okay. You know, property management, home insurance, they've gotten, it's exclusive. It's only 1 per. So for example, I think it's Trinity. Can I give you an example? I can show you one that's already on there. Trinity. Oh, there it is. So if I go to Trinity, and these guys, they've got to be national, obviously. Here we go. See, there's trinitymovers.org. This is a moving company. Get cash offer for home. Guess where that goes? Boom. Right. So now people who are moving or getting an insurance quote or anything else can get the cash offer. Fred's smiling.
I love it.
Just so you know, if you see these drop in, Joey, that's why. And I'm so sorry if I didn't tell you that already. But it gives us, you know, lots of opportunities. So yes, and then Fred came on the radio show, and then it was all over because agents were hearing it, you know. Oh, we've got a calculator for whether you've got enough equity too. Sorry, I forgot I did that one. That's on there as well. Now we've got, I don't know if you've seen this yet, Fred, but we're doing TV quality ads for assisted living. So if you land on assisted living now, you've got a whole video you can watch, whether you're the facility or the agent, or the seniors. It's talking to all three because we're very transparent about what we're doing and how the money is earned and everything else. Agents can join us right here. We add facilities here. So Ash and Christian have gone out, and a whole bunch of other people at this point have gone out, and they've really helped. We've made it check boxes to what's your licensing and accreditation. You can do this on your phone now. What type of care is offered? We're going to have this massive database of assisted living facilities. I hope you found it easier when you went out, Ash. And I think you mentioned it's different things for different, whether it's assisted living or memory care.
Yeah. I found that when I was sitting with Andy, just to kind of a little bit of feedback, is the conversation I was having was so free flowing, and she was giving me all of the data.
Yes.
That she let me, she was like, let me give you the password, you sign in, get online, do your form. But then I just said, I closed my computer and said, you know what? This is too good of a conversation. Let's just, I'll make notes, right? Because we were just talking, because she was telling me things that I would have to scroll down to the bottom. And I'm like, this is going to make it less personal, to Christian's point of view, and more like I'm selling her something and less like I'm talking to her. So I actually ended up she gave me everything. I've got a stack. I'll show it to you. She gave me this whole packet of like everything that's in here, her number, everything. And so I came back, I sat down, and it took me 10 minutes, and I just boom, filled it all out, and it's all in there. So, but quite frankly, having the form, whether you do it in person or do it once you get back, the click boxes, if I had to type all that in, would have been a pain in the ass. So I'm glad you have the boxes.
Well, you can thank Christian for that because he was the pioneer.
It's great job.
The great thing with forms is, you know, even if I were an expert in assisted living, I still wouldn't know all the answers.
Right.
So you start getting the answers. And what I did was, if you want the nitty gritty of forms, I took the 20 answers and I turned them into checkboxes. Yeah. So as you all provide more and more answers, we're not that great big company that is using developers where we have to pay $1,000 every time we change something. We'll put the other questions in that you need very quickly. So all you got to do is put it in your WhatsApp group and I'll grab it and get all that changed for you.
It also makes sorting and collating, getting all the data together and saying, show me only the ones that have the, I mean, if you got 15 different responses for what memory care, $1,000 or more means, you can't sort any of that data. So it's awesome.
Exactly. So any additional questions or anything you need from that? And obviously, as you're building out, I think you've got 35 people we're aiming at New Jersey based on your zips. How many zips are in New Jersey, that kind of thing. So as we build out your people, you'll be able to help them with this. That's why I love that you're getting ground level. Yep. And you'll be able to explain to them. Imagine an agent now, you could explain to them like an expert and you've only been to see one.
Yeah.
So it's just awesome. That's why I want everybody putting skin in the game and going out to see them, which, as you know, doesn't take long and it's kind of fun.
That's the way to do it. I enjoyed it.
Christian will tell you the same thing. Okay, we're wrapping up. We've got another, we do 45 minutes and an extra 10 if anybody's got any questions or wants to put Fred in the hot seat or, oh, we need Sparkle. Where's Sparkle Fairy gone? Sparkle Fairy, we need you because Fred just gave birth, not him literally, to a little girl.
Yeah, I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you need. I've got two of them.
I'll tell you a little known fact, Christian, and you mentioned the word glitter. The largest manufacturer of glitter in the world is located in Bernardsville, New Jersey, where I live.
No way. That's awesome.
It is on a farm, and you cannot even see the factory because all you see are about 100 head of cattle. But behind that, they have a glitter factory. And it is one of the most tightly kept secrets around because they don't want anybody to come in and see how they actually make their glitter. So it's
do we want to know how they make their glitter?
Comes out of Bernardsville, New Jersey. It's kind of strange.
That's awesome.
She's got a little girl too. Oh, she's
four.
You've got
four granddaughters and one on the way, and the oldest ones are starting 10th grade. So yeah, I'll be on that site.
Christian's, I'm telling you, it's amazing. It blew my mind. You're all giving me chills right now. The best project I ever did was I was in financial services. I worked directly for the chairman. It was the third biggest. And my job was to work with 300 CEOs and find out. The chairman said, what made them successful? You know, no pressure or anything. And one of the key things that came out of it was I called it joining the dots. Joining the dots was exactly the conversation that Ash just had with Christian about glitter and how there's the biggest factory in New Jersey. So a lot of them, I'd find one in Italy that knew how to ballroom dance. And then, this is a true story. And then one in San Diego that knew how to ballroom dance. And they had these best conversations about ballroom dancing, but it gave you a whole level of humanness to put everything else on. And these guys were CEOs. He had 300 CEOs. That's how big the company was. They own Farmers, if you've ever heard of Farmers, or Zurich North America. You know, a lot of insurance companies we've all heard of, and they were the CEOs. So you just gave me chills then talking about glitter. Isn't that funny? So don't be afraid to share or have all these networks come in, because I told, oh, so Christian's a financial guru, right? He has all these programs teaching people. Is it data? I mean, just give us the 30-second, Christian.
I teach people how to trade stocks, usually options, mostly options, and not necessarily really day trading. I tend to try to discourage that, but swing or long-term trading and sometimes investing, but it's a lot of options trading. So I coach people on how to do that.
He's being very humble. He has a lot of money doing this and he's a guru in it, right? So he could also offer that to the agencies bringing in, right? We all have gifts and we're all being too humble about them. We had no idea that Ash did a TED talk when I was interviewing him. I had no idea. It's not, I don't think it's even on his resume. Like, And now I know he's Sparkle Fairy. The game's all over. And you know that's going to be hashtag Sparkle Fairy Christian forever now.
Never gonna live it.
We all have these assets that some of them certainly in the professional world, or if they have little girls, that you could give to the people you're bringing in, because we need to build your armies now. What you got, Ash?
Beyond that, I'll give you a copy of my book. I'll mail you a copy of my book. How about that?
There you go. Well, but your TED talks about writing letters, which I'm guessing is about, I mean, you're not 90 years old. It's about being, I'm just completely guessing about
I'm a lot
being
older than you think I am. How old do you think I am, bro? We'll have that game.
Being human and writing letters and how you can stand out by doing it, right? So, and I was a guess.
All about building your personal and professional relationships through the art of letter writing. Yeah. And it's based on a series of letters my dad wrote before he passed away. He died in 1997. He's very young. He's only 63. But he wrote a whole series of letters to people, places, things in his life that were meaningful. And I used those as kind of a guidebook for my life, quite frankly, and would share them with people from time to time. And so after about 20 years of toting them around in a 3-ring binder, I put content and context around the letters and then turned it into my own book. And then based on the values I learned from my dad, and then turn that into a TED Talk. So if you just Google Ashley Davis or YouTube Ashley Davis TED Talk, it'll come up. There's an African American female named Ashley Davis that also gave a TED Talk. You will clearly know which one I am when you pull up the video.
I love it. That's brilliant.
Did anybody else get a lump in their throat? This is where did I meet you guys? Like the level of people that are coming in are amazing. And I feel like we're developing our own little board for this. It's fantastic.
I'll tell you what I love about this opportunity is why I'm switching in the process to EXP is I had a 25 plus year corporate career. So I ran operations for a large media company and then got into real estate and was doing pretty well in Charlotte based on my corporate connections. But when I moved to New Jersey to take care of some family health issues, I hadn't really found a niche. I tried to work with people that wanted to move south, and I tried to work with, all these different things. I couldn't quite. And when I met Row and saw what you were doing, particularly in the assisted living space, my mom went through this 10 years ago. I was in the throes of this, and what do I do with my mom's house, and how we're going to. She had Alzheimer's, and so for me, this is much like the book was a full circle moment with my father. This is a full circle moment with my mother, and allows me to kind of use the gifts I've had and the experiences and things I've learned in business to help people who are in a situation that, quite frankly, my brothers and I were successful. We were able to fund my mom moving into an Alzheimer's care facility without having to sell her house. And we ended up selling it a couple of years later. But I know people aren't in that position all the time. And to be able to do this as a profession and to be able to help people is, quite frankly, at a very personal level, what attracted me to this opportunity. So it makes my conversation with somebody like Andy at the residence at Basking Ridge a more authentic one, because I'm speaking to her from my own personal experience. And that is very much what Christian has talked about as well. So
I think it's outstanding, and we're so happy and excited to partner with you folks. And I'm really excited to be a part of your success. And to the extent we can help you, let us know if there's anything we can do. Again, I think it's a fantastic opportunity. It was theoretically an opportunity, and now you've proven it out that it actually is an opportunity. And you've got, years of visible growth here, just with really conservative assumptions. So let's figure out how to execute on it.
Absolutely. We're excited. I'm excited.
Let's find some more people with a heart, because that's where it's coming from.
I love it. Well, thank you, Ro. This is such a pleasure. And is there anything else we should cover today?
I don't think so. I think we're all good. Anything else, guys? And I have my VAs on as well. So we've got the army coming. We'll have a bit more help next week. All right, y'all. Good.
Thanks,
good.
Ro.
Right, wonderful. Thanks, everybody. Really nice to see everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.